If you're skeptical about Star Trek, Prodigy, these 8 episodes will change your mind. For some longtime Star Trek fans, Star Trek, Prodigy felt like an odd experiment when it premiered, a show aimed at younger viewers, built on a CG aesthetic, and starring a cast of entirely new characters far outside the familiar Federation structure. But for anyone who actually gave the series a chance, it quickly became clear that Prodigy wasn't just good for a kids' show, it was one of the most heartfelt, ambitious, and surprisingly Trek-accurate entries in the modern franchise. If you're skeptical, you're not alone. Plenty of fans avoided it, assuming it wasn't for them. But the beauty of Prodigy is that while it's accessible to kids, it never talks down to them. And it absolutely rewards adult Star Trek fans with rich world building, strong morality tales, and some of the best character work the franchise has delivered in years. So if you're on the fence, here are 8 episodes that will change your mind and prove exactly why Star Trek Prodigy deserves a place on every Trekkie's watch list. 1. Lost and Found, Parts 1 and 2. The spark of adventure. If you want to understand what Prodigy is truly about, start at the beginning. Lost and Found is one of the most impressive pilots Star Trek has produced in decades, energetic, cinematic, and emotionally grounded without oversimplifying anything. These 2 episodes introduce Dal, Gwyn, Rok-Tahk, Jankom Pog, Zero, and Murph, all of whom begin as prisoners or workers trapped under the thumb of the mysterious diviner. The discovery of the USS Protostar becomes not just a plot device, but a symbol of freedom, curiosity, and possibility, all classic Star Trek themes. The moment the ship launches for the first time is pure magic, echoing the tradition of Trek premieres where a starship's first flight represents a leap into the unknown. Even skeptics will likely be surprised by how well Prodigy sets up its arcs, its emotional stakes, and, most importantly, its deep reverence for Star Trek's core values. 2. Kobayashi, a love letter to Trek legacy. If Lost and Found proves Prodigy can tell a compelling story, Kobayashi proves the showrunners love Star Trek just as much as the audience does. In this episode, Dal takes on the infamous Kobayashi Maru test, yet it's not just a retread of a familiar concept. The holodeck pulls crew members from across Trek history: Spock, Uhura, Dr. Beverly Crusher, Odo, Lieutenant Uhura, Scotty. What makes this episode astonishing is how seamlessly it uses archival audio from classic actors, making the entire experience feel like an authentic crossover with Trek's greatest legends. It's heartfelt, it's funny, it's beautifully nostalgic, and it embodies one of the central ideas of Star Trek: learning from those who came before. Even if you're skeptical about the series' younger cast, Kobayashi is guaranteed to win you over. 3. Time Amok, Trek-style sci-fi at its finest. If you ever doubted whether Prodigy could deliver real, high-concept Trek storytelling, Time Amok delivers with style. The episode splits the Protostar crew into fractured time zones, each moving at different speeds, an idea that could feel overwhelming in less skilled hands, but Prodigy executes it with clarity and intelligence. This is classic Trek puzzle solving, but with a twist. It gives every member of the young crew a chance to shine. Rok-Tahk's emotional arc here is especially powerful as she faces the burden of isolation and responsibility. For fans who think Prodigy is too simple, this episode proves the writers are absolutely comfortable wielding mature sci-fi concepts, even surpassing some of the franchise's more adult-oriented series. 4. First Contact, a lesson in Starfleet values. One of the most surprising strengths of Prodigy is how it emphasizes Starfleet ideals before the characters ever officially join Starfleet. First Contact, with its wonderfully punny title, follows Dal as he crosses paths with a familiar face from Star Trek: The Next Generation, Okona. His reckless smuggler charm stands in direct contrast to the responsibility and integrity Dal is trying to develop. The episode showcases the tension between self-interest and the greater good, an essential Trek dilemma. It also pushes Dal's character forward, forcing him to reconsider what kind of leader he wants to be. If you're skeptical about whether Prodigy can provide meaningful moral storytelling, this episode will erase those doubts. 5. A Moral Star, Part 1 and 2, Stakes, Heart, and Perfect Payoff. This 2-part mid-season finale feels like a feature film. The pacing, stakes, emotional beats, and character arcs all land beautifully, proving Prodigy is far more than a simple episodic kids' adventure. When the crew decides to return to the Diviners mining colony to free the prisoners they left behind, it marks a major moment of growth. The mission is bold, dangerous, and deeply Trek in spirit, putting themselves at risk to do the right thing. But it's the character relationships that make this two-parter shine. Gwyn confronts the truth about her father. Dal faces his own insecurity. The crew proves their unity is stronger than fear. This story cements the Protostar team as a found family, a hallmark of great Trek crews from TNG to Voyager. By the end, even the most skeptical viewer will understand why Prodigy has such devoted fans. 6. Mindwalk. Body swap comedy meets high stakes. Star Trek has a long history of body swap stories, but Mindwalk is easily one of the best in the franchise. Dal and Admiral Janeway accidentally swap minds, and suddenly we get one of Kate Mulgrew's most delightful performances as she plays Dal trapped in Janeway's body. The episode is fun, fast-paced, and character-driven, but it also pushes the season-long arc forward in major ways. It shows how much Janeway truly cares for the young crew, even when she doesn't fully understand what's going on. If you want an episode that balances humor with emotional resonance, very much in the spirit of Deep Space Nine or Lower Decks, this is the one that'll convert you. 7. Supernova, Part 1 and 2. The Season 1 finale that hits hard. The Season 1 finale is Prodigy's boldest storytelling yet, bringing everything full circle with emotional and thematic punch. The threat facing Starfleet is massive, but the heart of Supernova lies with the Protostar crew's selfless decision to do whatever it takes to save others, even if it means losing their home, their ship, and the life they've built together. The finale showcases heroism rooted in compassion, sacrifice worthy of any classic Trek crew, a payoff that respects both the characters and the audience. If you thought Prodigy couldn't deliver real stakes, this two-parter proves otherwise. 8. Into the Breach. Part 1 and 2. A confident return and a new beginning. Season 2 opens with another cinematic two-part adventure that expands the world of Prodigy and raises the emotional stakes even further. Without spoilers, Into the Breach proves the series isn't afraid to evolve its storytelling, deepen its themes, and challenge its characters. By this point, the show has fully embraced the idea that it's not just for kids. It's a genuine part of the Star Trek universe with all the complexity, bravery, and hope that entails. If the first season made you care about the Protostar crew, this two-parter confirms they belong among Trek's most compelling young heroes. Final verdict. Give Prodigy a chance. It's better than you think. If you're still skeptical about Star Trek, Prodigy, these episodes will absolutely change your mind. They prove the series is more than a flashy experiment or a simplified entry point for younger fans. Prodigy is smart, emotionally rich, deeply faithful to Trek ideas,